Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. M.N. Gupta, Emeritus Professor at Department of Biochemical Engineering, Biotech and Biotechnology at IIT Delhi. Today we are going to talk on the module Cancer and AIDS from paper Immunology. In a normal situation, cells follow the principle of live and let live. Cancer is an umbrella term for many diseases in which cells in particular specific organs or tissue undergo uncontrolled proliferation. The common feature is that they spread and invade the space occupied by other cells. This transformation of the cell followed by invasion is termed malignancy. So the objective of today's module is to learn the difference between benign and malignant tumors, to learn about distinguishing features of a malignant cell, to learn about carcinogens and the role of initiators and promoters in carcinogenesis. Also to understand how DNA and RNA oncogenic viruses cause malignancy, and finally to learn a little bit about this dreaded disease called HIV. So the concept map is very simple here. We will see that how cancer causes the normal cell to become a cancerous cell or a transformed into a cancer cell called transformed cell, and what role is played by carcinogens, retroviruses, DNA viruses in this transformation of a normal cell into a transformed cell, and how retroviruses are implicated in HIV. In developed countries, infectious diseases, cardiovascular diseases and cancer remain causes of death with a fairly high frequency. The number of the diversity rather than of infectious diseases which causes death there may have shrunk. Under normal circumstances, proliferation of a cell is a highly regulated process. When this regulation is lost, cell proliferation causes tumors which are called neoplasm, which means new growth. Non-invasive tumors which do not spread are called benign. Some neoplasm spread to surrounding tissues and are called malignant tumors or cancer. Tumors formed from epithelial cells are called carcinoma. Those forming from stromal cells or mesenchymal cells are called sarcoma. Tumors are, to begin with, essentially localized swelling. The causes are inflammation and or infection and cell proliferation. Neoplasms are caused by cell proliferation and are sometimes referred to as
solid tumors. The growth kinetics of solid tumors is biphasic. In the first phase, nutrients from intracellular fluid feed the cell by diffusion. In the second phase, tumor induces proliferation of the host blood cells. The first phase is possible as active transport systems are more efficient in malignant cells as compared to normal cells. This mechanism cannot sustain tumor growth beyond 1 millimeter diameter size. Beyond this size, there are mass transfer constraints for inner cells of the tumor to have access to the nutrient. Towards the end of the phase, tumor cells release angiogenesis factors which lead to formation of new blood vessels which ultimately reach outer layer of the tumor cells. Inner core cells die. Let us consider 100 cells in an organ. Generally, 99% will differentiate and stop dividing. The single stem cell will continue dividing. This step is repeated. This is what is shown on the left hand side of this slide. At each step, stem cell will divide into one differentiated daughter cell and one stem cell. If malignant tumors, if all progeny continue dividing, tumors spreads very rapidly. If only a certain percentage of progenies divide, cancer spreads relatively at a slower rate. Metastasis is spread of the malignant cells first to the nearby cells. The second stage of metastasis occurs via invasion of a vessel and cancer cells entering into a lymphatic or blood vascular system. Some metastasis occurs through exclusively via the lymphatic route. Lymphatic vessels carry intercellular fluid throughout the body and transport both particulates and fluid to lymph nodes. Cancer cells lodge in these lymph nodes. Breast cancer is often spread by lymphatic route. In the microscopic view, the metastasis can be seen as a central light area which has abnormal epithelial structure. The metastasis can spread via bloodstream via two routes. First one, as already mentioned, is the direct invasion of blood vessels. Alternatively, cancer cells in the lymph node may reach lymphatic, such as thoracic duct, from where it enters large veins connected to the heart. Spread of metastasis by bloodstream route is called hematogenous metastasis. Let us look at successive stages in the development of cancer of the colon. This is an example of the lymph node route. Here the cancer cells in the colon spread in the intestinal wall and reach local lymph node via lymphatic route. From there it can spread to another organ like liver, brain, lung or bone. The process of cells becoming malignant or cancerous is called carcinogenesis. A normal cell becoming malignant is called neoplastic transformation. A cancer cell gives rise to only another cancer cell, hence a clone of cancer cells is formed. At clinically detectable stage, for all practical purposes, it appears that the tumor is derived from a single cancer cell, that is, it is monoclonal. The probability that a particular tumor is malignant increases with its size. The correlation is different quantitatively for different cancers. Hematogenous cancers spread often to essential organs and are often fatal. Lymphatic metastases relatively are less grave. Leukemias can be considered a subclass of sarcomas and are malignant cells growing in the blood. The large proliferation of blood cells make patient cell appear as milky. Derived from Latin, the word leukemia means white blood. Cancer cells can be distinguished from a normal cell by examining the tissue under a microscope. Cancer cells rapidly grow, have a high nucleus to cytoplasm ratio, prominent nuclei are present, and there is a more mitosis. Appearance of invading cells in the tissue is the most valuable indication. Cultured cells have been the most valuable system for understanding biology of the cancer cells. Fibroblast is the dominating cell type. A fibroblast secretes the proteins which are part of fibrous connective tissues of animals. Cultured fibroblasts are not as differentiated as true fibroblasts, and with a chosen trigger can be differentiated into different types of cells. So these are closer to mesodermal stem cells. Epithelial cells are another type which has been cultured and represents cell type arising from ectodermal or endodermal embryonic cell layers. Both above cell cultures grow on plastic or plastic dishes by adhering to the surface as they secrete laminin, fibronectin, and collagen. Cell cultures from blood, spleen, bone marrow are non-adherent type, and such cultures are kept in suspensions. Human cells during culturing have three phases: a growth phase, a constant growth rate upon continual dilution, and death. In mice and other rodents, dilution doesn't help. However, as a rare phenomenon, a variant may appear and grows forever. This is how immortal cell lines are obtained. Non-adherent blood cells from animals can be easily immortalized. Human cells and chicken cells are rarely immortalized. Rodent cells are much easier to create an immortal cell line. 3T3 mouse cell lines, for example, have proved immensely useful in cancer research. This slide shows a scanning electron micrograph of normal 3T3 cells. As can be seen, these are aligned and closely packed in an orderly fashion. The right hand side shows the SEM of transformed 3T3 cells. Virally transformed 3T3 cells are rounded, covered in hair-like and structures and appear to be bulbous. Treatment of adherent cells such as viral infection, chemicals and irradiation can endow these cells with the capacity to form tumors. Such processes are collectively called malignant transformations. Large number of changes in the properties of the cell have been observed upon transformation. Normal cells stop growing after they reach a cell density. Transformed cells show increased saturation density. Their requirement for growth factor, hormones, etc. is less than normal cells, or they secrete their own growth factors. Transformed cells do not have requirement for adherence and can form colonies in agar suspensions. Their shape and appearance are unlike normal cells, form unstructured masses with multi-layers. Transformed cells also no longer have contact inhibition of movement. Unlike normal cells, while moving they can cross each other. Normal cells sort of recoil from each other. Definite changes in the composition of cell surfaces have been observed upon transformation. Both sialic acid and ganglioside content decrease. Less lectin concentration are required for cell agglutination, presumably as a result of increased mobility of glycoprotein on the cell surface. More permeases are present on cell surface, presumably because of the need in view of increased glycolysis. Actin microfilaments are absent. Transformed cells secretes plasminogen activator, which converts plasminogen into plasmin, which helps penetration of basal lamina by the cells. Altered gene expression is observed after malignant transformation. About 10 raised to the power 16 cell divisions take place in humans during their lifetime. Spontaneous mutation rate is estimated to be about 10 raised to the power minus 6 mutations per gene per cell division. This arises out of inherent inaccuracy in DNA replication. The reason for a normal cell to become cancerous is not a single mutation. More frequent mutations do contribute. One evidence for this is that incidence of cancer rises steeply as a function of age. The correlation is more steep for carcinomas as compared to leukemia. It is estimated that about 3 to 5 independent and random mutations have to occur in the same cell for it to develop malignancy.
The crucial question is, what causes cancer? We have seen age as a factor, so is genetics. More specifically, both environmental factors and some viruses have also been identified. The tragic part is that in many cases, almost all the cases, the exposure to carcinogens is avoidable, at least the known carcinogens. Unfortunately, that knowledge does not deter people. The correlation between lung cancer and smoking is well established. Yet, the reality is that the people actually pay for buying cigarettes and other tobacco products.
This data clearly shows the outcome of smoking. The dose versus response relationship clearly establishes smoking as a cause for lung cancer. Before the cancer can be clinically detected, and methods to detect it early are improving, series of changes in the cells occur. Each step increases malignancy. It should be understood that the tumor merely represents a cell mass growing rapidly. Malignancy is its invasion of tissue or organs. This generally means some cells from the tumor coming apart and entering blood vessels or lymphatic vessels. Epidemiological studies show that some chemicals act as carcinogens. In fact, chemical carcinogenesis requires carcinogens and promoters. It appears that carcinogens cause mutations, whereas promoters triggers abnormal cell division. Neither carcinogen alone nor in combination with promoters cause neoplastic transformation in cultured cell lines in vitro. The normal metabolism ironically transforms carcinogens into metabolites which interact with DNA. So real or ultimate carcinogens are created by metabolism in vivo. Apart from immune system detoxification mechanism protect animals when some chemicals are accidentally consumed. These small molecular weight components quite frequently are insoluble in water-rich milieu. Detoxification mechanisms involve conjugation with polar compounds, glycosylation and hydroxylation reactions so that compounds are excreted out. These detoxification reactions often involve reactive intermediates. If the step of their production is higher than their conversion to final excretion products, these accumulate to reach a level where they cause damage by mutating DNA. Liver is the organ where many detoxification reactions take place. Aflatoxins are toxins from molds growing on grains and peanuts stored under humid conditions. In tropics, this is a serious contributing factor to incidences of liver cancer. The insight into roles of tumor initiators and tumor promoters have come from skin cancer elicited in mice. Even a single exposure to carcinogen in all likelihood causes latent damage. Exposure to tumor initiator followed by tumor promoters lead to neoplastic transformation. The exposure to promoter also has to cross a threshold limit. Promoters themselves are not mutagenic. Malignancy can also occur without promoter if exposure to the carcinogen occurs repeatedly at a significant level. Promoters thus sort of uncover the damage done by carcinogens and cause cancers at a high frequency. For that, however, prior exposure to carcinogens is necessary. Tumor progression refers to the phenomenon in which a single first aberrant cell develops gradually into a detectable cancer. External reasons like a casual exposure normally cause cancers after a long period of time. An illustration is the development of uterine cervix cancer. In the first stage of dysplasia, most superficial cells show signs of incomplete differentiation. In carcinoma, cells in all layers proliferate but are undifferentiated. Malignancy onset is seen when cells cross the basal lamina to invade connecting tissues. Whole process may take place over several years. Even at carcinoma in situ stage, surgical removal or destruction of the affected tissue is possible. Interesting enough, at a carcinoma in situ stage, even without medical intervention, it may not progress to the invading stage or may even regress. However, it is estimated that in 20 to 30% of such cases, it develop into full-blown cancer without the medical intervention. At the invasive stage, surgical or other medical interventions are quite unsuccessful. Let us look at the one hypothesis proposed to explain the observed effect of tumor promoters on the development of tumors. Promoters stimulate cell division for cells which otherwise will be terminally differentiated. Promoters cause formation of small benign tumors called papillomas. The number of papillomas formed directly depends upon the prior exposure dose of the initiator carcinogen. Many papillomas are clones of mutant cell formed as a result of exposure to the initiator. Promoter encourage expression of genes in the mutant cells which influences cell proliferation. More mutation in the proliferating cells makes some cells malignant. Epidemiological studies have revealed geographical regions of high incidences and low incidences for various cancers. Lung cancer has high incidences in New Orleans, USA among blacks, and low incidences in Chennai, India. Melanoma has high incidence in Queensland, Australia, and low in Osaka, Japan. Lifestyle seems to affect percentage incidences of at least some types of cancer. Mormons in Utah, USA are known for abstinence from many things. They have about 50% of the cancer incidences as compared to USA in general. Ames test proved very valuable in establishing carcinogenicity of many chemicals. It employs a Salmonella strain that has a mutant gene for histidine biosynthesis and hence requires histidine in the medium for its growth. Rat liver cell extracts is used to stimulate in the in vivo reaction which converts a potential carcinogen to the real carcinogen, the reactive intermediate. The potential carcinogen is added. By mutation, it can reverse the mutant gene responsible for histidine biosynthesis. Ames test actually estimates mutagenicity of chemical. However, all initiator carcinogens are mutagenic. The results on mutagenicity with this bacterial system correlate well with mutagenicity of mammalian cell.
Rouse was awarded the Nobel Prize for his discovery of Rouse sarcoma virus or avian sarcoma virus about half a century earlier. Avian sarcoma virus or ASV as it is called is one of the RNA tumor viruses or oncogenic RNA viruses. As these contain reverse transcriptase, these are also known as retroviruses. Some DNA viruses like simian virus 40 called SV40 and polyoma virus can also cause malignancy and are called oncogenic DNA viruses. Infections by these oncogenic viruses cause permanent transformation of the animal cells which become cancerous.
Oncogenic DNA viruses, infection leads to integration of their DNA with host DNA at random sites. Oncogenic DNA viruses coat for both cell surface and nuclear antigens. In oncogen RNA viruses, retroviruses, the retroviral DNA made by reverse transcriptase is transcribed only after integration with animal cell genomes. Retroviruses do not seem to be major cause for common cancer in humans. However, their studies with other animals have provided valuable molecular level insight into cancer. The cellular antigens expressed at specific stages of differentiation are called differentiation antigens. These can also be found on malignant cells and can be identified by use of monoclonals. Use of monoclonals also allows insight into the stages in differentiation at which cell become malignant. For example, this approach has shown that majority of T cell leukemias are caused by transformation of prothymocytes or early thymocytes. SV40 encodes two early proteins called T, that is large T, and a small t. Polyoma virus makes three early proteins called capital T, mid T, and a small t. The capital T antigens are 90,000 kilodalton nuclear proteins and play key role in transcription of viral DNA and their replication. The mid T of polyoma is a 45 kilodalton membrane bound protein. In SV40, some capital T antigen is bound to membrane. The small t protein are cytoplasmic and are of about 20 kilodalton. All three kinds of proteins have independent roles in causing malignancy. In case of polyoma virus, in which genes have been spliced out, the mid-T proteins can transform red 3T3 cell lines, but transformed cells will still require all growth factors. T protein confer the property of growth in low serum, but such cells are not morphologically transformed. In SV40, different parts of T protein, that is capital T protein, play different roles in transformation. RSV was found to contain SRC, which is not found in non-transforming retroviruses. SRC was also found in host chicken DNA and in fact in DNA of all vertebrates and some invertebrates. Oncogens are cancer inducing genes. SRC of the RSV is called VSRC to distinguish from the animal one, which is called CSRC. Retroviral oncogens can be classified into 5 classes. In all cases, they have a counterpart in normal animal cell DNA. Many codes for the tyrosine kinases and thus are involved in signal transduction. In other cases, their products are similar to growth factors expressed by normal growth animal cells. Other express proteins similar to growth factor receptors. Transformation by retroviruses results in both qualitative to quantitative changes in the gene expression. Oncogenes often code for proteins involved in growth and development. It was in 1981 that first cases of a new disease were reported. This disease has come to be known as acquired immune deficiency syndrome or AIDS. The reason we are discussing this in this module is because it is now known that AIDS is caused by a retrovirus. This discovery was made by Luc Montagnier and Robert Gallo. It is worth noting that in old days, identification of the cause of a new disease often used to take decades. In this case, availability of current tools resulted in the identification of AIDS virus within 2 years of the first few reported cases of the disease. HIV, the cause of AIDS, is similar to human T cell lymphotropic virus 1, that is HTLV1. Thus, HIV also infects T cells. It is estimated that about 40 million people are infected with HIV and about 2.5 million cases are added each year by AIDS. Just to provide a perspective, about 2.2 million people die each year of diarrhea in the developing world. HIV has an envelope of bilayer membrane containing integral glycoprotein GP41, which is linked by a disulfide bond to GP120. Let us look at the entry of HIV into a precursor of T lymphocyte. HIV GP120 interacts with CD4 on T cell surface. membranes fuse and the viral core enters cytoplasm of the host T cells. The 9.7 kilo base RNA core of HIV is more complex than other retroviruses. The unusual genes are SAW, TRS, TET, and 3-ORF. TET stimulates viral messenger RNA synthesis. TRS increases the expression of GAG, POL, N, and SOR genes. N has very high mutation rate. GP120 show high degree of variability in amino acid sequence when isolated from the same patient at different times. No successful vaccine for AIDS is available at present, although several drug cocktails have shown some encouraging results in some cases.
In this lecture, what we have learnt about is what are benign tumors and what are malignant tumors. We also learnt about the distinguishing properties of a malignant cells, that is the properties at the cellular level or the properties of a malignant cell in which it differs from the normal cells. Normal cells also proliferate, the malignant cells also proliferate. In the case of the malignant cell, this proliferation has lost the control or regulatory features. We also learned that there are definitely chemicals which are called carcinogens and promoters of cancer. Finally, we learnt about the role of the both kinds of viruses, that is the DNA viruses and the RNA viruses in cancer. Finally, we learnt about HIV. Immune system does try to destroy malignant cells. Both NK cells and some adaptive immune system components try to control cancer. Mechanisms by which tumor cell escapes destruction are likely to involve induction of tolerance, lack of expression of MHC class I proteins, selection of tumor cells with antigens which fail to elicit strong immune response, immunosuppression, and expression of fast T ligands which causes T cell apoptosis by interacting with these fast surface receptors. Thank you.